Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. You may continue.
Thank you. Ms. Arias, before we move completely past the convention at Oklahoma City, you had mentioned some incident that had made you upset during this convention.
Yes.
That made you more upset than being treated as his buddy during this convention, right?
Yes, I can't say that being treated as buddy made me really upset, just kind of bothered me.
Okay. What was this incident that you're talking about that hurt your feelings so significantly?
Well, this was the night of the executive director banquet, and I went again with Travis that night. After that banquet, most people like to change out of their tuxedos and gowns or whatever fancy dresses that they're wearing into clothing that's more comfortable. So Travis and I did that. I was in jeans or whatever, and he changed out to the same. And some people will stay in their dresses. There was one woman that came down the stairs from another level of the lobby, I guess. We were in the lobby area of the Sheraton Hotel. And she was very, very drunk, and she almost couldn't stand up. And so she began to hang all over various men, slurring things, making jokes that nobody really understood. Everyone was laughing at her, though. It was kind of funny. I thought it was kind of funny at the time, too, so I flipped open my phone and started video recording her, just so I could show her the next day. So everything was kind of, we were just laughing, and then am I allowed to say what she said?
Well, let me get specifically to what was it about this drunk woman, as you describe her. Did she have an interaction with Travis or something that made you upset?
Yes, she was hanging all over two guys, and then after that she kind of lurched over to Travis and fell on him a little, and he held her up, and they were facing each other very close, and he was holding her around the waist, and she had her arms around his shoulders, and she had this very sexy black gown on, very generous cleavage, kind of pressed up against his chest, and he looked like he was loving every minute of it. And I was sitting down on a couch nearby. He was probably about 5 feet in that direction, and I had already shut my phone at this point because the video didn't last that long. I just got this feeling inside, like my stomach flip-flopped. Like I couldn't believe he was doing that. Not just doing it, but doing it right in front of me and in front of all our friends. I was under the impression that most of our friends, Dan was there, Aaron Dewey was there, that other people understood we were together, and I didn't feel like that behavior was appropriate. But I didn't want to make a scene, so I stood up, and I was hurt. I felt like I wanted to cry, but I didn't really want anyone to see that. So I decided I was going to go to the bathroom. But in order to get to the bathroom, I had to walk right past them. So I passed them, and they stopped me briefly, and I don't remember what she was slurring, but he was just kind of laughing, and they were swaying and just going like that. And I just smiled and said, I don't know if I said much. I just kept walking after that. And I went into the bathroom and into a stall and sat down on one of the toilets and just started crying.
Now, did you express, this sounds like it was pretty upsetting to you.
Yeah, it hurt my feelings.
Did you express that to Travis?
Eventually. I was more appalled with the fact that he was doing it right in front of me and that he was doing it at all. But it definitely hurt my feelings, and I stayed in the bathroom for quite some time. Leslie Jodi came in. I believe it was her. It sounded like her voice. a few times calling my name. I think she knew I was in there, but every time I heard the door open, I put my feet up so that no one could see me in the stall because I didn't want anyone to understand or to know that I was upset. So she left, and after the second time she came in and then left, I finally exited the stall.
Why, let me stop you for a minute. Why would you not want people to know that you were upset?
I guess I felt ashamed for some reason that he was acting that way. I felt ashamed. I can't really explain why. I guess I just felt like maybe I would be perceived as someone who didn't deserve anything better, or someone who was maybe overly dramatic or overreacting or too emotional. I wanted to be perceived more as just cool and calm and like shrug it off, like, whatever, because maybe there wasn't any meaning behind it. But even though they were very physically suggestive, or at least close and pressing their bodies up against each other, and it lasted quite some time, I just still was thinking, well, maybe there wasn't anything to that. Maybe it didn't mean anything. So I didn't want others to think that I was overreacting.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you brought this up with Travis. Did you do that before you left Oklahoma City, or was that after you got home?
It was shortly after I left the stall. I checked my makeup because I had cried it all off and my eyes were really puffy and red. So I didn't want to give myself away. So I tried to make myself appear like I wasn't crying. And then at that point, I think a half hour had passed. So I left the bathroom and I had to walk past the same area again. Most of that group had dispersed, so I decided to walk really fast toward the elevators, and hopefully no one would notice me, but somebody did and called my name, and just to be polite, I stopped and said hi, and then continued on to the elevators. And then as I was getting near the elevator, Travis texted me and asked me where I was.
So after he texted you, did you get together and talk about it then?
Yes, I forgot actually one thing I did before you texted me.
Well, let's just focus on the conversation you had with Mr. Alexander.
Okay.
That happened that night in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it did.
And where did that conversation take place?
It actually took place, he was trying to get on the same elevator I was, but from his floor. So we figured that out, and I rode the elevator up, and he met me at the elevator.
He met you on the elevator?
As I came off the elevator.
Okay. So where are you when you talk about this?
We are outside the elevator. There's a long hallway, but then right before the hallway, there is a small table and a chair, maybe 2 chairs. We were there.
Okay, so you sit down and you talk about this event. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And are you yelling at him? Are you crying? What is your emotion when you're expressing how upset you are with him?
I had calmed down a lot. I didn't want to leave the bathroom until I was cool and collected. So I'd calmed down a lot, but as he got me to talk about it, it got me upset again, so I started crying some. And he reassured me and just said some nice things.
Okay. And that kind of ended the discussion about it there, at least in Oklahoma City?
That didn't really end the discussion. As I was going to sleep that night, he sent me a very nice text message, very apologetic, saying that he wanted to be better. Sorry.
In terms of the conversation, the verbal conversation, that ended at the table in the hallway, right?
Yes, when we were present with each other.
So you leave Oklahoma City, you've had a conversation about this incident. You were telling us earlier how you had spent some time at a friend of Travis's house, had dinner there, and I think we're at a point in time where you were about ready to return to Palm Desert, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how far of a drive is Palm Desert from Mesa?
I remember it being approximately 5.5 hours, depending on how fast you drive.
Now, did you have a job back in Palm Desert at that time?
Yes.
And where were you working?
I was working at Quisto and trying to remember. I think it was California Pizza Kitchen.
Okay. Now, at this point in time, though, you were also telling us that you were seeing Travis every week, maybe every other week. So after you returned from convention, when was the next time that you saw him?
I saw him again the following weekend. There was a recap. They usually have some kind of recap event the week following convention, I guess in various regions, and Travis came to Southern California to the one that I would go to.
Okay. And you said Southern California. Where was this follow-up or?
I believe it was either in Anaheim or a city near that.
Okay. Did you share a hotel room together?
No, he stayed with friends and family, I think.
Okay. And did you have a hotel room?
I stayed, oh yeah, we were all staying at the same house, friends.
Okay. Any sexual activity at that point in time?
That night, I think we did in that house during those times, but I don't recall that specific night.
Okay. Do you recall whose home it was?
Yes,
Who?
it was Chris and Sky Hughes' parents' home.
Okay. When you were at this event, forgive me, I forget what you referred to it as, a post...
Recap.
Recap, okay. This post-convention recap, was his behavior the same it was in Oklahoma City in terms of how he treated you as a buddy or a colleague, as opposed to his girlfriend?
Yes, it was friendly, but not anything more than that.
Okay. And was he flirtatious with other women in front of you during this recap?
I don't recall. He's always very friendly with women, but I don't recall anything that sticks out.
Okay. So after this recap is over, do you both return to your respective homes?
No, the recap was one day on Saturday, and we stayed the night at the Hughes' parents' home. So it was a ranch, and we were out there, and there was a party. So a lot of people came over. It was a social event, and after the party dispersed, we hung out and went to sleep.
Okay. In the same bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. When you were at this ranch, as you described it, meeting a bunch of people, did he introduce you as his girlfriend?
No.
Was it just, this is my friend Jodi?
He didn't
Something to
introduce
that
me at
effect?
all.
What's that?
He didn't introduce me at all.
So after this party at the ranch, what happens next? I mean, do you stay at the ranch a few more days, or is this the last day you're on the ranch?
A few more days. I think I left Monday evening.
Okay. And left, you mean to go back to Palm Desert?
Travis wanted to meet up with me in Riverside that night, so he told me to go to, I don't remember what it's called, but I think it's called the Mission or something. It's kind of a tourist destination in Riverside. He said it's a beautiful place for photographs and that I could get some nice pictures while he finishes up whatever he was doing at their house. So I had to I had to go to Verizon, and then I went there and took some pictures.
Okay. And did Mr. Alexander then meet you at this Mission Inn?
No, when he arrived in Riverside, he gave me directions to his grandmother's house.
Okay. And this house, was this also located in Riverside?
Yes,
Okay.
to my understanding.
Okay. And was this, by the time he had contacted you and given directions to his grandmother's house, was this, what time of day was this, if you can recall?
It was the evening, it was dark, but it wasn't very late.
Okay. So did he then, did you go to his grandma's house?
Yes,
Okay. Did he introduce you to his grandmother?
yes,
Okay. As his girlfriend?
no.
What did the three of you do while you were at his grandmother's house?
We just stayed. I'm trying to remember. I think I met her 3 times, and I don't want to get those things out of order. But the time that I left Temecula, which was where the ranch was, I believe, and then I went over to meet her, we only stayed for a few minutes, and it was a little awkward. I mean, I think I might have been meeting her for the first time, and Travis was kind of just standing there, and then he and I left to go to Barnes & Noble.
Okay. Where did you wind up spending the night that evening?
That evening, I think I drove home.
After you got back to Palm Desert, we're talking about January of 2007 still, is that accurate?
No, convention was late March. The recap was a week later. I think the party was on March 31st because it was the last day of the month.
Okay. Let me back up then. And was he, at this convention and this recap, you were, at least to the both of yours, at least the way you two looked at it anyway, you were boyfriend and girlfriend, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. In between January and March, it was Valentine's Day, right?
Yes.
Did you spend Valentine's Day with Mr. Alexander?
No.
Did he provide you with any Valentine's gifts?
Yes.
How did those, did he deliver them himself, or were they shipped to you?
They were shipped to me. We weren't together on Valentine's Day because I worked. And also the relationship was still kind of new, like 12 days prior. We barely made it official, so I didn't have any big expectations for Valentine's Day. But I came home between jobs in the afternoon, and there was a package on my doorstep.
And did you open the package right away? Was it, well, let me ask you this. Was it easily identifiable to you who the package was from?
Yes, his return address was on it.
Okay. Did you call him before you opened it, or did you open it?
I opened it before calling him.
What was in this package?
There were a variety of things. When I opened it, on top were some chocolates, Reese's peanut butter cups, and I think the little Halloween size, fun size Hershey bars. They were all melted completely. I guess they'd melted being outside. So I put them in the refrigerator. And then beneath that was a shirt that he had been joking about getting me for some months, or weeks maybe. It was over a month. And it's...
Could you describe the shirt for us?
Yes, it's the one that was in the picture. It said Travis Alexander's.
What else?
I laughed because it was an inside joke that he had been making for a while. I didn't think he would actually get me a shirt like that, but he would joke about doing that. And so took it out of the package and lifted it up, and there were also other items underneath it.
I'm sorry, you say that again?
There were other items underneath it.
And what other items were there?
The pink shorts, which I didn't see his name on the back at first. I just picked him up, and I thought they were cute.
Let me show you what's been marked as exhibit number 417. Is that the shirt and shorts you're talking about receiving from Mr. Alexander on Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Valentine's Day 2007?
Yes.
Okay. Now you mentioned some melted chocolates, t-shirt, shorts. Was there anything else in this package?
Yes, there was one other thing beneath the shorts.
What was that?
They were boys' underwear. They were Spider-Man underwear.
And did it seem strange to you that you were receiving those?
I was confused at first. They were still in the package. I don't remember the size, but they were like packaged like in a vacuum sealed package with the cardboard, you know, so you could see the different styles of Spider-Man that were in that package. And I thought at the time...
Well, let me ask you this. Was there anything else in that package?
There was a nice letter also.
Judge, may we approach?
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take the evening recess at this time. As I told you yesterday, there will be no court tomorrow, so we will see you back here on Monday at 10:30. Please remember the admonition. Are there any questions? Have a nice weekend. You are excused.
Please stand for the jury.
Record will show the jury has left the courtroom. Please be seated. Ms. Arias, you may step down. Counsel, is there anything else for today?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
10:30. Thank you.